everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. This is day 7 of 31 Days of Strange. This is a movie review for Night of the Demon, which is the British UK original release of this gem of one of my favorite movies of all time, a classic black and white. I grew up the United States, the US release is known as Curse of the Demon. That's the one I grew up knowing, and then when I became an adult, I found out this is actually the original one, and the title was changed. This one has a longer runtime, shows a bit more into it that adds to that versus the US one. So this gem, this black and white gem, which is from 1957, is a great occult movie, of course. Night of the Demon, therefore, is a movie about demon and the occult and black magic and such. And I grew up watching this as a child. I think it was, first time I saw it was probably between the ages of maybe 7 to 11, well, 7 to 11, give or take. I don't remember exactly, but it was first time was in that, and then second time was somewhere in that range, because my father was, and still is in most parts, a big horror fan. And of course, that translated to me. As a kid, I kind of laughed by the sound effects. You could kind of see things being pulled along on a string, and the sound effects of like wheels and stuff like that. But I did overall, deep down, I did like the storyline, and I was attracted to it. Something about it kind of resonated with me, even though I didn't understand, of course, as a child, about the full aspects of occult and magic. And as I learn and grow more and more, this even deeply resonates with me, just besides the entertainment value or how I was attracted to it, or the nostalgic value. Here's the back of this. So I rewatched this with my husband, whose channel is You and Your Horror Movies. If you're into that type of stuff, like this genre of movies, or the aesthetic or the occult, and you haven't seen this, then go to his channel and check out his different things. He has an extensive, amazing channel. We're blessed to have that. So basically, this is a story starts off with a British professor and his kind of rival, talking about in magic and the occult and stuff, parapsychology type of studies, along those lines. And basically, the premise was that there was the main character at that time, and then there was the one that was suspected of running a satanic cult and practicing dark magic, and may have been behind several murders within the area, or known and definitely suspected. Definitely was kind of a shady, nefarious character. Foreshadowing from the beginning, of course, as do many movies have in stories, especially horror movies. This is based on a 1911 short story, I believe it was 1911, where I haven't read yet, but I do want to, so that will be something I will be visiting in the future as the short story that this was based on. So basically, they're basically talking, and one's trying to get ready to expose the character that is suspected or well known potentially for being the leader of the satanic cult and performing witchcraft and murder, and of course self-serving gain. So that of course he's about to expose them. And the one kind of, in an arrogant way, he kind of points out, you're going to die soon, blah, blah, blah. Well, he does die in a very tragic accident, which appears to be an accident of electrocution, but yeah, was not. So then, and you do see, if you watch this or have watched this, you would say that there was something involved, which there was controversy with this, a lot behind this making, because producer wanted to show the demon, the writers, the director, etc. All the other parties did not. Well, they won out. I like the demon. I think for being 1957, they did an amazing job with just the overall aspects and the creation of the demon in this story. So basically, fast forward a little bit, a professor of parapsychology and such wants to come and debunk all of this stuff and comes to speak at the university, and finds out that the one he was coming to meet met a tragic demising accident. Meanwhile, another character comes in. She was the niece of the one that was in the accident, or actually was murdered. Not to get one, but obviously. And she keeps explaining, and at first he's kind of skeptical. He meets the character which is in question, which is Carswell, and basically, yeah, things start spiraling from there. And they're talking about witchcraft, and he kind of still is a very skeptic and trying to debunk it. Meanwhile, Carswell's like, I practice witchcraft. He shows off some of his things very arrogantly, to show him, and poignantly, and of course little signs. So therefore, instead, he becomes a target in this. So you start seeing little aspects of things show up along the way, and basically how this happens is the person has a runic parchment with symbols. They pass it to someone, usually in an obvious trickster way, of course. Who's going to accept something like that for the most part? So yeah, especially, of course, that's kind of part of what's behind it. So he received it, and certain things happened throughout that. And then it said, you're going to die in, by such and such date, which was like 3 days. Yeah, and at first he's like, yeah. And then little things kept happening and piling up. So yes, it became more obvious. And then, of course, that character, the other character that was performing the witchcraft and black magic, he sort of actually started doing more stuff because he knew he was onto him, and blah, 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 self-preservation, etc. So basically, make a long story short, he finds out, the actual one from the U.S., to preserve himself. He finds out by various means that he, in order to save himself, or at least try to, self-assurance, whatever the case is, and for all the parties involved, that you have to pass the parchment back to the person that gave it to you. Therefore, they will get their demise versus yours. So, of course, eventually through certain means and, the typical plot and such, he ends up doing so. And the black magician, the witchcraft, ends up meeting his demise with that demon that he summoned and was working with in a very great dark way. So obviously kind of a revenge, justice type of movie. But this one is great. So if you are into the occult, you just like a great black and white old film from the 50s, something based on witchcraft, of course. Hello, I am into witchcraft and occult and many other things, and horror movies, so this marries all of those, plus nostalgia. This is a great film. I give this one, actually, for so many aspects besides the nostalgic value, but the storyline, the effects for the time period. I love a great black and white horror film, so this one is a bit strange in certain ways, but it's great. I like the acting, and I give this one definitely a 9 out of 10. Possibly a 9.5 for various reasons. Not perfect, but definitely on the 9 range out of 10. And again, if you watch this, please let me know what you think of it below. If you've never watched it and you're interested in something like this, or just looking for something new for the spooky season month, give it a check out. Please like and comment and subscribe, as it helps my channel grow. And yeah, so y'all stay strange and tune in for Day 8 and going forward. Thank you.